Here's a book that's a wonderful book on attitude, I think a great resource locally. Has anybody seen this young man speak? Brett Eastburn from Walkerton, born with no arms, no legs. And this book just came out this year, I'm Not Missing Anything, by Corby Books. I've read it twice, and it's just about how his attitude, his thought life. And one time he got real low in life. He'd had a breakup with a girlfriend, and he was considering just doing some bad things, but then he thought of himself as a rubber ball. When he hit the bottom, he was going to soar higher than ever. And he's gone on to be one of the top school speakers in the world from Little Walkerton, Indiana. I wanted to play a video clip of someone with a great positive attitude. When I was at WSBT, what happened was the viewers said, "You come across so positive," and that kept going back to the customer surveys they would do. So the general manager, the late, great Jim Freeman, what a leader he was. Kind of leader that when you lead, I encourage you to be like Jim. You just want to do good for him, as they say in the South. I wasn't intimidated. I didn't necessarily fear him. I don't like leadership that way. But he's such a good guy that you just want to do well for him. One time, I had been working hard. He rewarded me by letting me go down and cover the Masters. Just brought me up to his office and said, "How would you like to cover the Masters?" Well, when I picked myself off the floor, I said, "Absolutely." But here's the thing, because I cared so much about him and everything, it really was sort of a reward trip just to go down there and do a few live shots. But no, I took a camera and did a bazillion features because I wanted to take advantage of that to show the viewers back here what it's like to go to Augusta National. Still the most beautiful grounds I've ever been on in my life. And anyway, so he brought me in and said, "We want you to start doing positive news stories as well as the sports." And you know how we all have added job duties. Doing the sports was plenty around here. Now 2 times a week I'm doing positive news features. I was negative about it at first. Yeah, oh, they want me this, then, blah, blah, blah. As a result, though, I started interviewing these people that the viewers would tell us about. They'd write us letters, send us emails, and I'd come back to the newsroom like, "Oh, you should have seen this lady. Oh, she's so positive." In the newsroom, they go, "Oh, no, he did another positive attitude story," because newsrooms are cynical. "Okay, Charlie, go to your office," whatever. But one of them I did was on a lady from Memorial Hospital and her attitude and what have you. And it's the one called Real, back, let's see, is she right up there. Here's the story of Real Miss. Did this a number of years ago, and it shows you the power of having a positive attitude.
It's got 2 little holes.
Real Miss has been blind since birth. That hasn't kept her from leading a very productive and fulfilling life.
I enjoy life. I love it. I like coming to work.
At Memorial Hospital, Real is their darkroom technician.
I run the films, load them, put them away, take inventory. Order the film. When we receive the film, I put it away when there's room for it. I do copies of x-rays if needed, and if anything else I can do around here, I try to do it.
The South Bend native has the respect and admiration of everyone in the Memorial Hospital family.
We have constantly done construction around this area, this hospital. Somehow or other she manages to find her way through all this.
Real is a success professionally. Personally, she got engaged to Melvin McMurray last June.
It's worked out fine. Last year he brought another dog into my life. He got his guide dog, and so now we've got 2 dogs around there. And it's nice.
Has anybody ever seen her around or know her? That Real Miss, isn't that incredible? That's fine right there. The power of the attitude, and the people at Memorial had to have her. What happened was technology moved on. They moved past dark rooms, so they didn't have her job anymore. But because of her attitude and how customers loved her, they created a position for her because they needed her on the team the way she interacted with customers. And also her infectious attitude impacted everybody else on staff. Remember that line in there? She said when she gets done with what she has to do, she looks to see what she can do for someone else. And those are the kind of people you want to hire. Again, when I was in television news and hiring people in the sports department, sometimes I'd have some candidate from Chicago or a former major college athlete come in, and I usually did not hire them because I could see in their attitude they weren't going to do the little things like pick up a camera and go shoot a volleyball game in Bremen on a Wednesday night. They just want to cover Notre Dame. And also I could see they were a little full of themselves, and that could impact the overall attitude. And so I would hire that person that came from a small college out in the boonies, from a small country town, from a good family, with a good attitude. And because people like Real Miss, look at that attitude. She's blind since birth. She found a job in a dark room. She looked at the positive. Brett Eastburn, he says, you know what? He's not handicapped or disabled. He's always found a way. When he was young, getting around their little house in Walkerton, he would get a Tonka dump truck, a little toy for kids. He'd put himself in that and push himself around with his stubs. And what I like about when we read about people like that, it puts our challenges in perspective. You know? And also the thing with Real is she has that sense of humor, and the same thing with Brett. If you can bring a sense of humor, your people there within the Martins environment, this guy is something else. When he showed up for his first date with his wife, Chrissa, years ago, the dad didn't know who was coming, didn't know the situation, so Brett gets to the house, and the dad opens the door, and there's Brett down there. And he looks him over, and Brett looks up and says, "Sir, you can rest assured I will not lay a hand on your daughter." And they got married in 2000. They've been married for 13 years and happily married. And you know why she married him? We did an interview with her years ago because of his attitude and his love of life. And schools love him, you know, because he goes in, he impacts kids like you wouldn't believe.